Watching this video, you probably love amusement parks and roller coasters just as much as I do. But in my opinion, amusement parks and roller coasters are far from perfect, so here are my biggest amusement park annoyances. So let's get started. Starting off with one of the biggest annoyances in amusement parks for me, and that's inconsistent loose article policies. Now, these are just so annoying because at most parks, I have no freaking idea of where I'm supposed to put my bags, whether I'm supposed to put them in a locker, if they have bins on the ride platform, if the parks allow glasses on the ride with the strap, or straight up don't allow them. You just have no idea. And it's the most annoying thing ever. And what's even more annoying is that it often differentiates per ride. Some rides will have bins on the ride platforms, while others have mandatory lockers, and then others allow you to take your bags on with you. And then it just is so convoluted and is so hard to understand at most parks. So in my opinion, the way you fix that is basically take Universal's loose article policy and apply that across the whole park like the Universal parks have been doing. And if you haven't been to a Universal park, basically the Universal locker system is basically where pretty much every major attraction requires you to put all bags and loose articles in a locker, and then you open and close the locker using your park ticket. So it's 100% free. You don't need to pay for anything. And at least for Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure, that ride takes it a step further. And with that ride, the lockers are placed right before you enter the station, so you can keep all your loose articles with you and your cell phones and all that stuff with you in line, and then put them in a safe and secured locker before you ride. And then also those lockers are double-sided, so right when you get off the ride, you come and pick your items up on the other side. And it's just a truly amazing system. And because of that, I'm so glad that other parks are catching on to this. As for example, 3 different RMCs, Steel Vengeance, Twisted Timbers, and Wildcat's Revenge, all utilize free double-sided lockers, which are great moves for Cedar Point, King's Dominion, and Hershey Park respectively. So good on them for improving those locker policies, but I just really want parks to just at least make the locker policies more consistent across the park, because it really is truly annoying. Another aspect about certain roller coasters I just absolutely despise is that certain rides have extremely cramped vehicles. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, the rides that really have crazy cramped vehicles are those from Premier Rides. So that would be the coaster in the picture, which is Tigress, one of their Skyrocket 2 models. And those trains are just so freaking tight, so you really got to contort your body in very strange ways to get inside of them. Another problem with these cramped vehicles is that even though they're decently comfortable when you sit down, they also aren't the most accommodating to larger guests. So if these ride manufacturers want more people to ride their rides, it would be much better on their part to change the track and trains design to just be more open and just larger overall. It'll just benefit everybody. So that's just why I freaking hate these cramped ride vehicles, and I don't understand why it's becoming more and more common throughout parks, as even other manufacturers like RMC are known for their decently cramped ride vehicles, though they're not as bad as Premier Rides coasters. And it's just so freaking annoying getting in and out of them. So that's just why I just freaking hate when coasters have very cramped ride vehicles. And another one of my largest complaints when it comes to amusement parks is, why do they keep investing in freaking low capacity rides? Because it just makes the wait time longer. And also, it's not super hard to invest in a ride that can run 2 or 3 trains and has large trains. I get it that some coasters, like for example, most Gerstlauer coasters only have 8 to 16 riders per train and can only run 1 or 2 trains at most. And even other rides, like for example the Skyrocket 2, that can only support 1 train at a time. And getting back on Tigress and then also Tempesto, and Electric Eel. Basically, all the other SeaWorld Entertainment Skyrocket 2s. What I don't understand is, so SeaWorld added a third car to give the ride a capacity of 18 riders per train instead of 12 riders per train, but why didn't they take the extra mile to just add a turntable to the station? Because it can totally be done with these Skyrocket 2s. We have seen a Skyrocket 2 with a turntable station that's located in Mexico, and it's a massive boost to capacity. So I just don't understand why these parks opt for low capacity rides. And sticking with Busch Gardens Tampa, you also have freaking Cobra's Curse, which I don't freaking understand why Busch Gardens Tampa opted for 8 passenger trains, and then only 5 of those to be on the course at once. And to make matters worse with Cobra's Curse, it's located at the front of the park, so no wonder it gets one of the longest lines in the freaking park. And to add more fuel to the fire, at least with Cobra's Curse, it appeals to a wide audience of people, which makes that ride even more popular and makes the line move even slower. So I just don't understand at all why these large parks will add low capacity rides. It makes no sense to me whatsoever, because they can totally add higher capacity rides if they want to. So now this is probably my biggest pet peeve when it comes to amusement parks, and that comes down to freaking slow operations. And there's a reason why I have a picture of Six Flags on this slide, and it's because Six Flags parks are freaking notorious for their slow operations. Like, for example, when I went to Six Flags over Georgia this past July, Twisted Cyclone probably had upwards of 5-minute dispatches, and Goliath, for example, the park's B&M Hyper, had crazy long dispatches as well, and that is inexcusable, because at least with Twisted Cyclone, that ride, you can kind of understand it having somewhat slow dispatches, because the RMC trains, the lap bars are super heavy, you have to check the lap bars and seatbelts, and they're not the easiest to get in and out of. So with Twisted Cyclone, I can give some slack, but there is no reason why Goliath has slow operations. Because, for example, take another B&M Hyper, such as Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. Mako has literally the exact same trains and restraint setup as Goliath, no seatbelts and everything, and that ride has crazy high dispatch times. No, crazy low dispatch times is what I meant. But other than that, that ride can pump out trains very quickly, and from personal experience riding Mako ever since 2018, I've literally probably not even waited more than 30 minutes for Mako. And that just shows you how fast these B&M Hyper coasters can dispatch trains. And if you have good trained operators, they can totally pump out trains very quickly due to the simplistic restraint systems. So, like, I don't understand why these parks have slow operations. And I understand it's really on a ride-to-ride basis and depends on the train setup, but still, it would just be very much appreciated if these parks were to add and just train their employees better to just pump out trains quicker. And it would just be greatly appreciated because it would drastically decrease wait times, as I mentioned earlier with Mako. So if you enjoyed my rant about the most annoying aspects of amusement parks, remember to give this video a like and share this video with anybody you know who will be visiting any amusement park soon. And also remember to subscribe to Southeastern Thrills and check out my playlist on even more annoying aspects of parks. And peace.